Now that you have a sit and down working good for you, there's no point in even doing all that if you can't ask your dog to stay for you. In obedience training or in all training, we deal with something called the 3Ds: distance, distractions, and duration. So distance is asking your dog to do something from a distance. Not have your dog necessarily having to be right next to you or right in front of you when you ask them to sit down or whatever. Distractions is just plain and simple that your dog will do said behavior with distractions around. In the beginning, that starts with small, minor distractions. It depends on every dog. It could be other people around, it could be dogs, it could be food on the ground, it could be certain noises, certain toys, it could be anything. Duration is what we commonly refer to as stay. So when we ask a dog to sit, we ask a dog to down, we're asking them to not just do it for a split second. We don't want the dog to sit, take the treat, and immediately get up and go do what they want. So we teach stay two different ways. One way is kind of like an implied stay. So we use marker words. Marker words are yes, free, break, okay, good. It tells your dog that either they did something good and that's why they're being rewarded. They tell your dog that you're done asking them to do things, go be a dog, go do whatever you want, and so forth. So I personally use the word free for a marker word. It tells my dog that I'm done asking him to do things, he can go do whatever he wants. So the way I operate is if I tell my dog to sit and I don't say free, he has to stay sitting. If I tell him down and I don't say free, he has to stay in a down position until he gets more instructions. More instructions could be free, meaning, okay, now I'm done. I don't need you to lie down anymore. Go do whatever you want. More directions could be come, now come to me. It could be stand. It could be, anything. So that's one way to use stay. I personally don't like to use more words with my dog than is absolutely necessary. I think the more words that we use when talking to our dogs, the more it just confuses and frustrates them, especially in the beginning. But some people I've found over the years, just for whatever reason, like saying stay to their dog. Maybe it gives them more security, more peace of mind, knowing that they said it, and that's perfectly fine. So if you're in that camp, you tell your dog to sit, yes, give them a treat, and then you tell them to stay. Either or is fine. Like I said, I personally prefer just not even bothering saying the word, just not saying the word free immediately. So the way we're going to start working on this is we're going to ask for a sit. We're going to mark it with the yes or whatever word you're using. Give a treat, pay your dog however you pay them. And then in the beginning, we're just going to delay saying the word free for a few seconds, and we're going to stay right in front of them. Just get them used to not hearing the word free immediately, because we've been doing that so far up until now. If he or she does get up from a sit, gets off the place bed, whatever the scenario may be, they're going to get a correction. We're not going to say sit or down or place a second time. We're going to say or no, and we're going to give a collar correction. Straight up for sit, straight down for down, or if it's the place bed, we're going to guide them over to the place. You can see I gave Gunner here leash pressure for a sit, and he chose to go do a down. That's personal preference. If I tell my dog to sit, and then I want him to stay so I don't say free, and he decides to lie down instead, I personally don't care. If it's a dog that I'm going to be doing competition, any type of competition with a working dog or anything like that, I'm going to be more strict. But for a normal pet in your house, I don't see the real big deal in that, as long as they basically stay in that same spot. Now, if they're on place, they have to stay on place. That would defeat the purpose. So the way that would look is Gunner, sit, yes. Gunner isn't real big on treats, but we're gonna make it work. Free, good boy, good boy. So you saw when I say free, I take a quick step or two backwards or to the side just to encourage them to get up in case they're not quite sure that they're allowed to yet. Gunner has done some training with stay and beginner obedience type stuff. It's been a little while, so this is kind of a refresher for him, being a good boy. So we'll do the same thing but with a down. Down. Yes, good boy. I'll try taking a step back. One more step. Good. If they're doing good, you can go back and give them another treat, especially if they're very treat motivated. Ah! So correction. And you notice I didn't say the word again. Just no, and at least correction. Free. Good boy. So a couple notes. One, your dog has to make some mistakes for them to learn what not to do. You don't want to make it so easy that they never make a mistake, because it's in our mistakes, dogs just like humans, that we learn. We learn from our mistakes. But you also don't want them making a mistake, breaking the position, 8, 9 times out of 10 either, because then you're going a little too fast. You're asking for a little too much from your dog. You want it's a different sweet zone for every dog, but you want out of 10 reps a few fails just so they can learn. Maybe 3, 4, 5 in the beginning, and then once you get that down to out of every 10 reps, 8 times they're doing a perfect 80% of the time. There's a general rule that's when you move on, that's when you start making it a little harder. So just from knowing Gunner, I know if I were to put him in sit, yes. And I do that, and I stay right here. He's not going to go anywhere 10 out of 10 times. It's too easy for him. He knows better. So with him, I started taking steps back. You saw, going out camera, I'm sorry. So you saw that he started to take a step, and before his butt left the ground, I corrected him. So that kind of stopped him in the moment. He realized what he was doing wrong, and he stopped it. That's good. That's good for me. Free. You saw, and just like I was saying before, you saw I asked for a sit. He decided to lie down. I don't make a real big deal out of that. Gunner's not going to be doing any competition obedience in the next couple months or anything like that. I don't have a place bed right here, but place would be the same thing. I would put him on place, and I just wouldn't say stay. I'm going to do a couple reps with saying stay. So again, in case you're in the camp where you just like to say stay, gives you peace of mind or whatever, that way you can see the whole picture for that. So Gunner, down. Down. Yes. Stay. Free. Good boy. That's a good boy. So once you know you can take a step or two away from them and they're not going to break the position, and maybe even get a whole leash length away, the next step I always usually tell people kind of out of default is go a whole leash length away from them and walk circles around your dog. So Gunner, sit. Yes, good boy. So I'm going to get a whole leash length away. I'm going to walk circles around him. I'm going to try and stay in the camera view though for you. You spin in a circle. Squat down. Squat down. He's pushing his luck a little bit there, but we'll let it slide. Right, Gunner? You clap your hands. No. So maybe clapping hands is too much. No, it's not too much. Free. He kind of tied me with the free there, but we'll let it go. So another thing I want to go over real quick, and this is more so for the men out there than for the women, although it's good for the women also. You probably heard, excuse me, you probably heard a couple times when he made a mistake, I said or the reason I do that is there is a practical reason. So as men, we have deeper voices. So it's really easy for me to say no and maybe be caught up in the moment or a little frustrated on my end and sound mad. You never want to sound mad with your dog or angry with your dog. It does nothing other than make things worse. I say or whoops, because it's really hard for me to say those words and sound mad at the same time. Like I said, women don't have quite the same problem because they have a softer voice, not a deep voice. But women can benefit from it also. Women can accidentally say no and sound a little angry as well.